You can play as a bucket. God, I'm still laughing about it. Paul will attest. I found that like unsustainably hilarious.
Ooh. How are you doing? You really started to lose your voice on that last story.
That all sounds the same to me.
Yep, you can be a bucket.
Yeah.
Theoretically, you could also be other
The floor
stuff.
was cold.
You can be other stuff other than a bucket, but
So
bucket.
prop hunt, yes, it's prop hunt mode, but come on. The stripped down Call of Duty where it's supposed to be serious, it's supposed to be more like being in trench warfare. Now you can play as a bucket. I find that very funny, and it's not just because I'm on cold medication. I think that's a good bit of cognitive dissonance. I'm sorry your throat feels like knives, Kathleen. It doesn't feel like as many knives as it did on Friday when I canceled my stream. But the reason I canceled my stream on Friday was because my throat was very sore and I still sounded like this and Bish couldn't be there. So I was like, oh, it hurts to swallow. So I'd have to be drinking water constantly to do all this voice acting. So that means every 10 to 15 seconds I will be hurting myself. And I will be reading dialogue for 3 hours straight. No, I don't think I want to do that.
Sexy dialogue as read by someone losing their voice because of a sore throat is probably somebody's thing, but...
I mean, probably. Now that you've mentioned it out loud, that nascent kink has sprung into being. It's just lodged itself in the mind of a 16-year-old who had no idea that they thought that got them horny, and now it does. That's how kinks are born. There's a little fairy that goes around and is like... Now you like mattress toppers. Ting! That was the most random thing I could think of that came to mind.
I mean, I guess it's on a mattress, so that's good.
Yeah. Kathleen, yes. Can we make that a crap shot? The kink fairy? What a thankless job. Give me that memory foam. Kink fairy crap shot win. Like what happens in Hogfather. It is very similar to what happens in Hogfather. What's a mattress topper? A mattress topper is usually if somebody has like an uncomfortable mattress, they like buy like 3 or 4 inches of memory foam to go on the top because that's much cheaper than buying a new mattress. Although if your mattress is truly clapped out, then the mattress topper won't help much.
Hey, everybody.
Hi.
I hope I turned on my mic properly. Can you hear me?
I'll tell you in a second. Barely.
Dear. Barely?
Barely. No. Hi, Paul. Wait, Paul, can you hear him now? Sounds like your mic is not on, Paul. Only through Kathleen's mic. Well, that's why we have you guys chat. I thought you were on one.
I do look on one.
Yes, you're definitely on one. I don't understand.
Oh, how's that?
I don't know. Needs more Paul.
That should be better.
So is Dice Friends happening tonight? Yes, Dice Friends is still happening tonight. Graham is sick because he has what I have, so he's staying home and resting.
As far as we know...
Okay, yeah, you're good to go, Paul.
As far as we know, it will be happening tonight. Obviously, if things completely fall apart in terms of Graham's health or whatever, then we may have to do something.
I would like to point out that I actually kind of like my voice like this.
You get the what's really good actually.
To me, it sounds sultry.
Well, what's good is it's the there's the sore throat but then there's once you're feeling better. Yeah. But your voice is still strained because you had a sore throat and were coughing for a while. Then you get your voice just drops an octave. Yeah,
I like that because normally I know I've got to actually, you know how your voice sounds different in your ears than it does you than it does to the world? Because I do so much stuff where I'm reviewing stuff where I'm on camera. my brain has sort of compensated that my voice kind of, I don't hear myself as sounding different anymore. When I first started doing Loading Ready Run, I was appalled. Because in my head, my voice is low and it's not nasal at all. Where in real life, I sound kind of like Fran Drescher. Which was a surprise to me and an unpleasant one at that. But now, because my brain knows what I sound like, it sort of equalizes that for me. So I basically hear the what's coming out. But when I sound like this, I actually do have a low voice, and it sounds like nasal because I have a cold, but less nasal. So I actually kind of like my sick voice.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of situations where you would, where it would be nice to actually, like, you know, be able to voluntarily have that, like, sick voice just for fun. But unfortunately, you can't get it without also the.
I mean, I guess I could drink like
coughing.
maybe like carbonic acid or something. It wouldn't kill me, but would shred. I could just join a metal band.
It's kind of a one-way.
And I could sound like this all the time.
Yeah, it's kind of a one-way thing, though.
I need to find a bunch of people who are into black and praising Norse gods ASAP.
It shouldn't be too hard in Victoria, you know, what with all the dark god praising that happens around here. Yeah. But the yeah, I sometimes get a thing where when I like lose my voice or I am sick, when I recover, I almost get like a double thing. Like it sounds like there's somebody standing right beside me talking at the same time at a lower pitch.
Yeah. Have you learned how to scream properly, or don't actually shred your vocal cords? Oh, I mean, we meet at apparently Scandinavia is where I need to go. That's
always blown my mind that, like, you know, people like the, you know, what's the name, like the lead singer of like AC/DC or whatever,
yeah,
can talk like normally and sing like that for 50 years or however long he's sung like that.
Back in black.
Yeah, without destroying his voice.
Well,
it's incredible.
I was actually listening to the CBC because I'm a middle-aged Canadian person, and they had a special on about an opera singer in Toronto where, like, she has made a very lucrative career out of training metal singers on how to, like, project the volume and, like, the intensity without shredding their vocal cords.
The voice, yeah.
Because, like, a lot of guys and girls, actually, like, it's not just men who sing in metal bands, but a lot of metal band singers are just like,
right.
And that just destroys your voice. So yeah, but of opera singers, of course, they don't like obviously they're in auditoriums that are designed for, you know, to amplify the voice. But opera singers are not singing into a microphone. Like opera singers are naturally loud.
Yeah,
they're like obviously there is some amplification. I'm not saying that, you know, there's no microphones involved, but opera singers are expected to really belt that shit out.
Yeah, yeah.
And that could be incredibly bad for your voice if you're not trained properly, which is why if you are an opera singer, you have to go and get years of training on how to like breathe and use your diaphragm to push the air out. So
actually, in relation to Dice Friends tonight, our DM Dale is actually an operatic singer. He does opera stuff here in town, usually sort of chorus stuff. But he has you know, of course, his amazing deep voice that you have heard if you've been at Desert Bus or something. And he was talking about that, how it's actually when, especially, you know, here in Victoria, where, you know, we don't have like huge venues, like, you know, it's like a regular sized theater. It's actually considered something of an insult to operatic singers to mic them.
yeah.
that operatic singers pride themselves on the idea that they don't need microphones because they're.
Yeah. I feel like if they're doing some kind of like cast recording or something like that, they'll probably get a microphone.
Well, yeah.
And if they're in like Carnegie Hall or like a really big venue, they're probably going to get a microphone. But I mean, like those are, I guess, theaters like that are actually designed to amplify the noise that's on stage, right?
Especially if you're like in the chorus with like a bunch of people. Yeah. We do.
Does Dale get a mic for yes?
Yeah, we do mic Dale for Dice Friends because we don't want him to be.
But all those
shouting during the whole thing.
Yeah, but all those professional theater people, like Dale and Andy, are like notorious for blowing our levels when we have them on.
Yeah.
Because they're just like, oh, You want me to talk? Okay, I'll talk as loud. Like they really like they talk. You can't tell, but they're really belting it.
Well, and there's that like that distinction that you learn sort of in theater, with the difference between like talking loudly and projecting is actually different.
Correct.
But yeah, I saw that someone was just asking there about Dice Friends podcast, and that has just gone online. I went online last night, and the podcast was approved in iTunes this morning. So it's on the Loading Ready Run website. If you go to the Lurcast section, you'll see the Dice Friends in there, and or you can listen to the audio or the video there. And if you go into iTunes, you should see it there too if you search for Loading Ready Run. Anyway, let's take a look at some stories.
Yeah, let's talk. There wasn't a lot of news this week, but let's talk about.
So the stories that we did actually do.
That's the wrong app.
Steamed hams.
Steamed hams.
It's not so much a story, but the fact that there's
two steamed hams games.
That there's games. Especially, I like that the steamed hams, except it's a playable 2D indie game.
With 6 endings. I'm excited.
Yeah, actually has. It's like the visual novel is just go through the game, go through the little the script.
Yeah.
But the indie game one, I guess you can fail or you can.
I have no idea. I'm gonna play it on Friday. How long? Like the whole sketch is like 3 minutes. So how long?
Yeah,
does it take me to
probably
get all 6
can't
endings?
get too long.
Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Nintendo Labo. Labo is a thing. I don't really know what they are. I mean, I guess they worked with the Switch, but like we don't have a lot of details. But I tell you what, listening to that commercial, like they got them Coldplay chord changes going. Like it's very emotionally manipulative. I was like, I need to buy this. It'll make me a good person. Look at how much fun these people are having. I gotta find a 6-year-old and like put these things together. And it's like, wait, I hate other people's children. What am I doing? No, like it was very emotionally. Like I felt like the Labo would not only give me like a tiny keyboard, which like it would be emotionally cathartic.
Well,
like I wouldn't be surprised if I was in a more like if I was a person who felt like emotions like other people. I bet people cried looking at that commercial. It was very intense.
I like the idea of that. I think it's smart that it's like made out of cardboard and made in sort of this not disposable way, but like this sort of because a lot of the things like I think a lot of the enjoyment and the fun of the whole thing is the building, like putting it together and stuff.
Can you mute my mic for a second? I'm going to blow my nose. I'm sorry, Paul. Nobody wants to hear this.
But I think the putting it together and setting it all up is actually the fun part.
Yes.
And
in that regard, it's like a puzzle.
Yeah, but so it's good that like by making it out of cardboard, one, you don't feel that bad about like throwing it away eventually.
Yeah.
And two, they can make it relatively inexpensive. Like it's the kind of thing that like you put together and you like play around with it a bit and you're like, okay,
that was fun.
I'm done with that now. And so I like that. Like I think that's smart that. And I'm excited for things that people come up with. I was reading an article that was sort of speculating on some of the stuff on sort of how it works, which is a lot to sort of, obviously it's using like the motion control stuff, and there's a IR camera in one of the Switch
which I didn't
things.
know.
I forget what one of the Switch Wiimotes.
I think the red one.
There's an IR camera in it.
Joy-Cons,
right. There's an IR camera in it, and a lot of the interactions there's like these little sort of white semi-reflective stickers that you put on stuff, and the IR camera can track those stickers.
Oh, cool.
And so that's apparently how it does a lot of the how it's doing a lot of the things, and so it's neat. Like it gives me the impression of like, you know, some weekend at Nintendo, they were like, here's a pile of cardboard, here are a ton of Joy-Cons, everybody come up with whatever you can, and then we'll sell some of them. Like it has a very sort of game jammy kind of feel to it, just sort of coming up with as many different weird ideas for how to use the sensors in the Joy-Cons, and I dig it.
VR chat. I mean, there's not much more to say about this. Not just for Ugandan Knuckles, not just for racist Sonic memes. People, like, I do think it's funny that, like, if you go and watch the video, some guy starts, like, they described it as sitting, in the article, sitting on him. I was like, this guy's trying to teabag the guy. And somebody who has a Morty avatar is like, hey, look, don't be that guy.
And
it was kind of actually perfect. I was like, great.
And the idea that people could, that, you know, I find it kind of neat, actually, that I mean, obviously this is, you know, something bad happened to the person, but that we're
He's
at the
okay.
point, yeah,
I would not be reporting on this if he
the guy's
wasn't
fine. But that we're at the point where, you know, because of the motion control stuff, that other people in the environment could actually see what happened to the guy, and like notice that he's not moving properly. Whereas, you know, in most, like in like whatever the Second Life or thing, like somebody just kind of standing there or doing something weird would not be unusual at all. So yeah, I think it'll be I think it's very cool. Now, VR chat has been very close to being number 18 a few times on 18 Games and Counting.
Uh-oh.
And it hasn't actually come up yet. And even if it did come up, like, I don't know what we would, I mean, for one thing, we don't have a VR setup right here now. But you can also play with like mouse and keyboard, but it's still like, it's not like a game, right? It's just a chat room thing.
Yeah, it's very Second Life. In last news that we did cover, Rift is trying a new strategy of getting you to pay for their game. Good luck, Rift. Yeah,
it's just, you know, obviously doing it kind of snarky about it, but I do, you know, the idea that they can, that it's like, let's sort of sometimes going backwards it seems like just as much an innovation as going forwards. You know, the idea of it's like, oh hey, you can just pay for the, you know, monthly subscription, and that includes everything.
It includes all the stuff that we're nickeling and diming you to use as the equivalent of a monthly subscription. And news we didn't cover. Somebody is modding Half-Life, like the original Half-Life, into a crazy Dragon Ball Z 3D fighting game. And I have no idea how they're making the engine do this, but they've been working on it for 5 years. And if you go, there's an article on Kotaku, and go check it out, and you will be gobsmacked. That is like based on the same engine.
My favorite part is that they spent a lot of effort in trying to simulate the, I guess the like cartoon experience of the fighting. So there's like they do all the like crazy things exploding and like people going like
it's madness how that's a game. Let's see. Okay, there's a lot of stuff that's going. There's a lot of Destiny controversies, and can we just skip it? Because neither of us are invested in this game. Graham, I was talking to him about this the other day, and first he was just like, whatever. And then he was confused, and now he's, because he wasn't mad when everybody else was mad. He was just confused and disappointed, but now he's actually come around and is mad.
Oh, good.
So, like, the circle of emotions continues.
I mean, the thing about this story and the reason why I marked it is because however many weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, you know, we talked, or maybe, but we talked about that thing where it's like the Destiny, where Bungie keeps doing the thing where they mess up and then they're like, don't worry, it's like we messed up, we know how we messed up.
We won't do that again.
We won't do that again.
Do it again.
We won't do that again, and we're really listening to the community and we hear your feedback, and we're going to take that under advisement going forward. And then the next week something else happens, and they say like the same thing, and then the next week something else happens.
It's not that's really grinding Graham's gears. It's that like it took so long to make Destiny 1 into the kind of experience that people thought it should have been when it launched. They thought that they would have taken some of those lessons into Destiny 2 because there must have been some concurrent development going on, but apparently no.
Yeah.
Apparently they thought yeah. I don't want to talk about this. I don't play Destiny. Do you play Destiny? No. Let's move on. All right. Sonic co-creator Yuji Naka has joined Square Enix, but not only that, he also did Phantasy Star Online and a couple of other really cool things, and now he's working for Square Enix.
Yeah, he led Sonic Team till 2006, I think.
Yeah. So like classic Sonic.
Yeah, yeah. Good Sonic.
Good Sonic.
Well,
I don't.
Yeah, I won't say that.
Yeah.
But
there's not much more to the story than that. But that's just okay, interesting.
I just like the idea of if you're concerned about Final Fantasy games, not going fast enough, there you go.
It's not ever been a concern of mine. Okay, so there's a new Hearthstone mode that lets you play with the champion's original decks.
Yeah,
it's kind of fun.
So okay, so what's cool about this is they're doing this thing where in lead up to the upcoming whatever their equivalent of a Pro Tour whatever GP that you can play with the last 3 years winning decks against other players.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting about it is that Hearthstone, because it's a purely digital game, unlike Magic, they can errata card, like they can patch cards.
Yeah.
Like they can fix cards.
They can be like, oh, whoops.
They'd be like,
Smuggler's Copter sure is busted. Add one more mana to that.
Yeah. Like they can actually change cards.
Yeah.
But these decks that they're building, or these decks that you get to play with, you get not only play with the deck, the original like winning deck, but they're actually, the cards in it are the reverted original versions of the cards.
So the unnerfed version of the cards.
Yeah.
When they were busted and they broke the meta, and that's why they got changed.
So you get to play with the busted version of the card.
So for a Magic person like me, this is like playing like classic Ravnica Standard with Jace and Caw-Blade.
Yeah. Or it's like, you get to, it's like...
it sounds fun, honestly,
it's like
to be on the dishing end of that rather than the receiving end.
Or it's like you're going to play a game of Magic, but just for that game, like mana burn still exists, and damage still goes on the stack.
Cool.
Just for that game. It's like you're playing not only the deck, but the rules in which that deck existed. It's a neat idea.
Neat. We talked about Call of Duty World War II getting a prop hunt mode.
It's getting other stuff that like it's a full DLC expansion that adds a bunch of stuff, but the prop hunt mode was the funny part.
And you play as a bucket.
It sounds like kind of fun actually. Like you have to like hide. You're like an object in the world, and so you like hide. It's kind of like that Japanese game show where something in the room is chocolate.
Yes.
Except something in the room is a thing you have to kill.
Yeah, and it's trying to kill you when your back's turned.
Which may also be a Japanese game show. I'm not sure.
I kind of like. Can I just read the coming up one more time? This is literally one of the funniest things I've heard in weeks. Call of Duty World War II, the stripped-back, more serious COD game that strives to provide a more realistic experience about the horrors of trench warfare, has a new mode where you can play as a bucket. I was writing it down, and I was like, so I need a punchline here. I was like, no, I'm finished. I'm finished.
You guys gonna
There's nothing more.
You guys are gonna get in on the. I mean, I guess we could. We have. James played Call of Duty World War II on New Day, so I guess we have it. So, I don't know if any of the crew have actually played any more Call of Duty.
I know that Alex has played a lot of Gary's mod, and like the whole like prop hunt thing is. I think it came out of Gary's mod originally. And the last thing is on the list is your article that you linked. The Joy-Con grips are more useful with smartphones in them. I didn't read this one, Paul. I skipped it.
So this guy made so you have the two Joy-Cons, and normally you put them on either side of your little of the Switch. But then there's also other things that you can put them on, right?
Yeah.
There's the battery pack one, and there's just the blank plastic one, and different things
so
you can put it
have
on.
like a sort of
And so somebody's made a 3D printable thing that is actually a phone holder.
Okay.
So you basically a phone holder that you put the switch Joy-Cons on either side of, and that's for two purposes. One, apparently, if you've got like an Android phone and various things, people have figured out how you can actually make the Joy-Cons work as controllers for like a game on the phone, which is pretty cool.
That's very clever.
The other thing is that because the Switch doesn't actually have like voice chat stuff built into it, they have a separate app that you can have on your phone. You can use it as voice chat, or you can do there's like various like stats things or different things, or you could have like the walkthrough for the game that you're playing, or various things that you could.
Right.
It's sort of it's sort of going back to the Wii U second screen thing, except your phone is the screen.
As somebody who played one game on the Wii U, I played Tokyo Mirage Sessions. I actually kind of like the second screen experience of it because like there's like all the stuff happening over here on the screen where like you've got your battle animations and all stuff. But if you need to like go through your menu and your items and like choose stuff, it was all down here. It was actually way cooler than I thought it would be. And I'm sad that platform never went anywhere because Tokyo Mirage Sessions is a pretty good game. It's like the methadone to Persona 5's heroin, but it's not bad.
I mean, it was. Like a lot of things Nintendo does with their hardware, like it was used really interestingly in a few places.
Yeah.
Like there was a couple games that actually did it where you like held it up and you could like scan with it, or people could like play on the Wii U on the TV, and then there could be like a asymmetrical multiplayer thing on the
it was actually pretty cool.
Like, there's some neat ideas, but obviously it requires a certain amount of buy-in from developers to actually use it properly.
I'm worried that because there's actually some, like I said, some good games on the Wii U, and I'm worried about how those are ever going to be ported off because of this whole like dual screen thing. Like I guess you could port them to like the 3DS, but they don't really go to the Switch unless they could work out a way for the Switch to send one signal to a TV and keep one signal on the actual physical unit, which I don't think it's capable of doing.
Yeah, I don't know if that. I don't think that's part of it. It's deal. So I mean, and that's always the problem is that like, but it works both ways. The reason why a lot of Wii U games didn't use this screen very effectively is because they were ports from other consoles, and so there was nothing to put on the screen.
Yeah.
It's always the case when you have the hardware that has special capabilities.
But that's it.
That's all the news that I thought was interesting.
We're still in the doldrums of the news cycle, I think.
Maybe,
We're getting new things are happening, things are coming out, but people don't like to put their exciting announcements in the first couple weeks of January because it's sort of a low. Nobody cares about the news sort of early January. Everybody's trying to be fit and eat healthier food. And in February, when everyone's given up on gyms and salads and cleaning their houses and stuff like that, then they could roll out the news because we're looking for distractions.
It's like when you're eating a salad, you need something to do, otherwise it's just so boring.
I love salads.
I like salads too, but they're often kind of boring to eat.
Not if you just load them up with delicious things. I've come to the conclusion I enjoyed salad, and I was like, oh no, what happened to me?
Yeah. I've enjoyed salad for many years, but they can be boring if you're not careful.
All right, well, by Lord72, he says, get better, Kathleen. I'm off to work, and I'm looking forward to watching the Dice Friends VOD when I get home. That's right. So coming up in 2 hours and 15 minutes on this very channel, we're going to be playing some live D&D with Paul and me and Bijou, Graham, and Dale.
Yes.
So when we last left our heroes, we had done a very, very bad thing to the only road out of town.
To be fair, though, that was 50% not our fault. Maybe even more than 50%.
I would say it's 100% not our fault.
Well, it was our fault in the sense that we are the ones who detached the thing. But the fact that the fact that it stayed detached was our fault.
We uncovered tampering is what we did. We did not tamper. So, All right. All right. If you missed that, check out YouTube and check out iTunes for
I believe if
replays of the podcast.
If you started watching it right now, you might just have enough time to watch the whole thing. Maybe not quite, but close.
Yeah. All right. Paul and I actually gotta go level up our characters.
Or will there be text summaries of previous sessions?
No,
probably not. But we'll see. I guess, but
we'll
not.
Probably give you a TLDR of what happened last time at the beginning of the session, just to catch you up, right? Like, when we last left our heroes, they're running from a horde of 40 tiny poisonous dinosaurs, right? But I don't think we're gonna actually do a long form notes thing. But like I said, there's YouTube replays, and it's now a podcast on iTunes, so check it out there.
Alrighty, and we will see all y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. All right. Oh, wait. We have to welcome subs.
Oh, whoops.
Oh, dear. Always, I apologize.
I was so excited. But, yeah, I really do need to level up my character. So.
Let's do that thing. Wait. And then we can thank all these people. Starts with Soge King Usopp for 18 months.
Someone, no not you, has subscribed for 40 months in a row. Thank you, someone, no not you.
Apodo Nuevo for 3 months. Thank you all for doing all the things. Keep up the good thing doing.
And Ninjutsu Monkey has subscribed for 22 months in a row, saying, yay, checkpoint.
Lord Crusher for 27 months. Yay for less sick Kathleen.
Less. Captain Falafel for 49 months says, insert witty comment / joke mentioning the 49-month subscription here.
Flying Ultra Car for 30 months. Always a pleasure to hear for Kathleen Point.
Wastafui is here for 16 months. I think I actually do a pretty good job solo hosting these things.
Paranundrox for 29 months. 29 months of lure subs. What a great birthday gift to give myself. Thanks for all the great content. Thank you for subbing.
Floataway3 is a brand new subscriber. Thanks for joining us, Floataway3. I always sound this nice.
For 2 months. Today I noticed, there's a thing.
Couldn't pick a username for 16 months. Says 16 months. Wow, that's almost 10,000 to the power of 2 months. So many memes. They come and go like the Tide Pods. I'm at a loss to explain them all to somebody.
Wow. It's Escherichia Cole.
Escherichia Cole.
Thank you.
4 more years. Lunatic93 for 13 months says, bad news, I didn't get to work due to the blizzard Geddon here in South Mini. Good news, I get to watch Checkpoint Plus live. Stay safe.
Pygmy Ocelot is a new subscriber.
Elihu Aaron for 20 months. Thank you.
Xanadu84 is a new subscriber. Welcome.
Ooh, Whack Lagak for 16 months. And apparently that was Leet Root.
Oh. Reynard Recca for 13 months. Kathleen and Paul, what could be finer? Well, if I hadn't run out of tea bags. Still, love you guys.
Butts for 2 months. Good username.
Pharmacist Judge for 35 months. Survived my first week of overnight shifts. Now for a week off with Lur.
Good luck. And thanks for 400 bits from Mugalord, our credits, Rock Pusher, and Pete Simpson. All right.
Alrighty.
All right. Let's go.
Let's go.
And level up our characters. Need some lunch.
All right. We will see all y'all later.
In like 2 hours. All right. Bye everybody.